Hey, it is Wednesday, and I'm so happy you're here with me today. We are here to talk about all the mistakes I made after my divorce and what I learned. And there is one key that really ties all of this together. And so this is live. It's not going to be a short video, so if you're tuning in and you want to spend, I have about 25 minutes to talk. And you know me. If you know me, you know I can talk. So hello, everybody. If you're here right now, just let me know where you are watching from. I really do love to check in with you. But I know you are on a time crunch. And so here is the list of things I wish I knew before dating after divorce. Are you ready? Number one. Who you will be is who they will see. Who you will be is who they will see. Meaning, whomever you are being is who they're going to see and what they're going to expect. So now I'm going to break it down into subcategories. So especially if you're watching this replay, you can kind of say, okay, I just want to watch the beginning. And then if you want more information, you stay for the rest of it. Okay? So, who you will be is what they will see, and therefore what they expect. So, number one, we set the example of how they're going to treat us. We show them, we teach them how to treat us. Number one, I'm going to go through the list and then we're going to break it down. Number two, sex does not lead to a relationship. Who out there is with me? Who discovered that the hard way? You can put a number one in the comments and be honest, because boy, I really thought that it would lead to a relationship and I was blown away that it wasn't. Number three, no man is too busy. And if he is busy, he's going to communicate that ahead of time. But no man is too busy. No man is too busy to reach out to you and let you know that you are important, because if you are important to him, he makes you a priority. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Number four, boundaries are your best friend. Create them, honor them, keep them. We'll talk more about it. And number five, trust your gut. If it doesn't feel right, it is not right. So let's dive in here. I saw people say where they were from. I love it. From South Africa. Wow. Marizan, that is so cool. Thanks for being here. Aw, thank you. I love helping. Florida. I'm going on vacation tomorrow. I'm going to be in Florida. Woohoo. Have to, number one, it's going up to 70 degrees here. And I mean, we were getting away to get warm. And who are we? Oh, I'm dating someone. Not going to talk too much about it. That's all you get for now. From the Philippines, Jen. Wow. Ireland. Hey, Kate. I hope to get there soon. It is lovely to see you here. All right, so let's dive into this. I journal. I journal several days a week. And what I always say about journaling is it's like I tap into the part of Jo Ellen that is way smarter than this version of Jo Ellen, this human version who makes mistakes. It's like when I journal, I can hear wisdom that is beyond me, and I then can say, oh, of course that makes sense. Of course I could have done this better. Of course I can learn from this. I could have more compassion. I could create a better boundary. Journaling has been one of my biggest, most beautiful practices, and I can't wait to share more about it with you. So when I journal, I don't have a religion. I'm very spiritual. So when I journal, I write, Dear God. And the first thing I do is I practice gratitude. I say, thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you for today. Because I want to set my energy into a positive frame of mind. And if anything, if I can't be grateful for anything in the world, I can be grateful that I woke up today and I am present to live another day. And then I can put everything down on that paper. And I go to my instinct, to my inner knowingness when I am journaling. And I have these ideas that I feel as if I'm inspired to write. And like I said, it's like I tap into the much smarter version of Jo Ellen than this very human, very imperfect person that is walking on the earth. And whenever I'm struggling, I ask for guidance. I ask for help. I ask, what can I see? What can I learn? How can I grow? And I always find those insights. And so in my journaling this morning, I actually wrote, who we will be is what they will see. Who we will be is what they will see. And I said, that makes complete sense to me, because whomever I am being, I am teaching other people how to treat me. And I posted about it this morning. If you see my Dear Heart series, it starts with who we will be is what they will see. And then I have, I think 8 different slides about how that impacts us. So for example, and I did this after my divorce. I didn't realize I had a good figure until I was in my 30s and divorced. I didn't know it. I dressed in very baggy clothes. I didn't want anybody looking at my body. I thought I was fat. I still had a little body, and I didn't even know it. So I thought I was fat. Psh. Oh, thanks, Bethesda. Thank you for your support. It was great to be on your live today. And that was great information. By the way, Bethesda Mental Health, if you're following me, she's worth a follow. Today was a very hard conversation on her live about the way men deal with emotion versus women. And I think it's important for women, for us to understand the difference. And she was specifically talking about a very triggering conversation, which was men and suicide. And we've had men in my family. We've had men and women in my extended family commit suicide. And it's an important topic for people to understand. My ex-husband was also suicidal as we were we were going through everything. So it's a whole other story. So I've really appreciated that information. Anyway, side note. Thanks, Bethesda. So back to the original conversation, we teach the world how to treat us. And what I didn't realize when I was married was that I had a body. And so after our separation, going towards the divorce, I started to do what I call the slingshot. I went from one extreme of wearing big baggy clothing to the other extreme where I was overtly advertising myself. Let me just say it tactfully like that. I was hoeing it up a little bit, and I was dressing certain ways, and I needed that attention from men, and I sought it out. And then I was wondering, when I started dating people, why it never turned into a relationship. Well, because I was playing the role of the vixen, and that's what they were expecting. And they weren't expecting more. And I wanted more, and I was communicating what I wanted in a way that they couldn't hear it, because I was showing them and being this object of desire. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm being super honest with you. And the reason I'm super honest with you is because I learned so much along my journey, and I see women who follow me And I look, when people follow me and make comments on my account, I often go back and I look at their accounts. And because I want to know who my audience is, who am I speaking to? Who are these human beings who are giving me an iota of trust? Because I want to speak to them. And often I find these profiles, without judgment, I'm not judging, where their foot into the visual world is how they look. And they're beautiful women. And they're advertising their bodies. And they're getting these big followings. And then they follow me. And I wonder if they're practicing something similar to what I practiced. I'm not judging. I'm not saying they are. I'm wondering if they're doing the same thing I did. And so the only reason I share authentically about the mistakes I made is because I'm on the other side. And I pray that when I share from that authentic space, one human being hears me and starts to get her value. And her value is so much more than the attention she gets from men because of what she looks like. And she's beautiful. And she's beautiful. And my prayer for her is that the beautiful parts inside of her also shine through. And so she can communicate. So that's why I share from this place. So let me go back. Imagine that I go off on a tangent. Not me. Not me. So I was playing the role of the vixen because that is what I started to realize got attention. And I needed the attention, or so I thought, because I didn't feel valued. I did not feel worthy of love. And I thought I had to mold myself into this being so they would give me attention. We would start dating. They would validate my worthiness of love. And it never happened. It didn't happen for 10 years. And it didn't happen until I got that I was worthy. And I had always been worthy. I had simply forgotten. And the more I put myself out there in that fashion, in trying to be perfect, because I am a reformed perfectionist, because if I look perfect, sound perfect, dress perfect, act perfect, never speak up for myself, never object, never argue, what can you have to accept me, you have to love me, right? And it's a crock of crap, a steaming hot crock of crap, and that is something you do not want to dive into. For failure, which is an interesting concept as well. I was constantly molding myself into a version of me that I thought he would need me to be. And what I was never doing was being authentically myself and asking him to accept me that way. I was always trying to have him accept me the way I thought he would want me to be. And being very sexual was one of those ways. This is why I came up with no sex before monogamy. It's the greatest boundary I ever gave to myself. And thank you, Patty Stanger from The Millionaire Matchmaker for showing me that. Oh, and as a side note, if you want to hear something fun, you know you've been dating way too long when you dated one of the millionaires who wound up on a show. And you're like, oh, snap. That's when you know you've been dating way too long. Happened. Really. Seriously. Millionaire Matchmaker. I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, he told me that story. Told me the exact same stories. Oh, okay. Got it. Clear. So anyway, sex does not lead to a relationship. Forget that it doesn't lead to a relationship. Sleeping with someone too fast, like, you have no idea who that human being is and if they are worthy of being that close to you. Ew. Boy, I made a lot of mistakes. Boundaries are your best friend. That one boundary, game changer. Game changer. Because it eliminated a lot of people who were never interested in me. Never interested in me. And if they aren't willing to wait for that, they are not willing to get to know me, and they are not worth my time and energy, and I can go, bing, next. I'm just being honest with you. So that boundary was beautiful to me. It became one of my best friends. It became my partner in the dating game. And knowing your boundaries was number 4 on the list of things I said. Know them, discover them, honor them. Because a boundary allows you to honor yourself and at the same time honor someone else. Because you don't take a judgment whether they accept it or not. It just is. We don't agree on this. And so therefore this isn't going to work. Set a boundary. Allow them to rise or allow them to walk away. They're just doing what honors them at this point in their life. Allowing them to do that is a gift you give them and you give yourself. By the way, learning to accept people exactly as they are and exactly as they are not and allow them to be that way was the absolute last thing I got. It was the hardest thing. And it was one of the most liberating things I learned after my divorce. Okay, so let's get back to the list. So number 3 was no man is too busy. No man is too busy. Believe me. Believe me. No man is too busy. He may be very busy because he's a surgeon. He may be very busy because he's in court. He may be very busy because he's a businessman and he's working on deals. But you better believe if you are important to him, on his break, he's picking up the phone saying, hey, I'm sorry. I've been really busy today, but I'm thinking about you. I'm about to go back into surgery. I'll talk to you later. If he got off work really late, we'll say, honey, I had complications in that surgery and it's really late. I know you are already in bed, but I wanted to make sure I reached out to you and let you know I'm out of surgery. I'm going home. It's 10 p.m. It was a long day. I love you. I'm thinking about you. We'll talk tomorrow. I'm sorry I missed you. That man is going to communicate. If the man has been in a car wreck and is headed into the ER and he is on the stretcher, he's texting you saying, honey, I'm in the hospital. I'm sorry. This is what's going on. They're going to let you know you're a priority. By the way, I allowed them to treat me like garbage. I allowed them to say, I'll call you tomorrow, and then not hear from them for 3-4 days. And then not, when they reached out to me, to jump to attention. Boom, I'm here. Because I didn't want to, remember I was a perfectionist. I didn't want to make waves. I didn't want to give them a reason to reject me. So I was just, hi. Oh, it's okay. Right? Like, seriously, I won't, that never happens now. Because if you want to stay in my life, we respect one another and we respect what we say. And if we can't honor what we said, we acknowledge it and then recommit to something else. It's a beautiful balance. So no man is too busy. They might not respond to you right there, right then. And they're going to let you know how it's going. Okay? And number 5 was trust your gut. If it doesn't feel right, it isn't right. Somebody's walking past the car. So Kelsey is sitting up and taking a peek at who it is. Please don't. She's just keeping the boundaries. This is her with good boundaries. She's like, I'm just investigating, knowing where they are, where they're headed. I don't have to bark. I don't have to alert. I'm just making sure we understand that boundary. Good girl. Good girl. But trust your gut. One of the ways I've learned to trust my gut is what I was saying at the beginning of the live, which is journaling. And journaling to joy. Because that's where I would really understand what my deepest thoughts were. Because if you just sit and you start writing a journal, you can write Dear Heart. You can write Dear Joellen, you can write Dear Goddess, you can write Dear God, you can write to whomever you want. And you start to see things that weren't so apparent before. You know, in my journaling is where I discovered that I was selling out on myself because all I wanted was someone to look back at me and prove to me I was worthy of love, because I didn't feel worthy of love. And that I was making all of these bad choices in my life because I wanted someone to reflect back to me my worthiness. And the person who had to reflect back to me my worthiness was looking at me in the mirror. Because if I didn't feel worthy of love, I wasn't someone who was of high value. So then other people didn't treat me as high value. I was teaching them that that was okay because I didn't feel worthy. I was sleeping with people I didn't know, well, a person at a time, not people, let's be clear. But I didn't know my value, and asking them to wait until we were in a monogamous committed relationship would see who was worthy of me and my time. It's not that they're not worthy of love. It's just, are they worthy of me and my time? Because if they weren't willing to wait, that answer was a very clear no. If I loved myself and I knew that I felt hurt when somebody said they'll call me the next day and then I don't hear from them for 3, 4, 5 days. If I loved myself, I didn't set that boundary, that wasn't okay, and honor that hurt me. And that because it hurt me, I needed to either A, communicate it, or just clearly B, that is not acceptable. And knowing these things makes all the difference in the world. My screen just got a little dark and I'm not sure why, but hopefully this won't shut off. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And I can't say thank you enough to every single one of you who are here. Yes, Bethesda, allowing people in your most intimate space, they have to be worthy of you. It is so true. Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to wrap this up and say good afternoon. I think my phone's going to die. I think that's why the screen's starting to go dark. So just remember, you are absolutely worthy of love. You've just forgotten. Start to learn how to let small amounts of love in for yourself. See everything about you that's right, because there's so much beautiful about you. And please get all the love today and every day. You truly do deserve it.